Hello, everyone. Our channel selects viewpoints and analytical articles from think tanks and well-known figures within the Chinese internet and presents them to Western readers so that everyone can understand how China thinks. If you find this helpful, please subscribe, hit the like button, and share our channel. Thank you. It should be emphasized that the content we present reflects only the original author's views. Our aim is merely to enhance readers' understanding of perspectives from the Chinese intellectual and policy-making circles. In view of the recent Nexperia incident, one may observe a broader pattern akin to the Nord Stream affair, a disruption engineered not to force an immediate collapse, but to entrench a long-term structural split. In this framing, the piece inserted beneath the surface serves to make the fracture between China and Europe more permanent. We assess the Nexperia saga as less like a short-lived wound that heals in days, and more like a malignant ulcer whose effects will continue to spread. With this context in mind, the article you are about to hear comes from a veteran of China's semiconductor community, a voice some might even describe as a deep-throat insider. Now, let us move directly to the full commentary. This commentary was published on November 14, 2025, at 6:12 p.m. The recent turmoil surrounding Nexperia has been unfolding for more than a month, and it still shows no sign of being resolved. Sometimes when I look at the flood of information online, half true and half false, I genuinely find it amusing. Last weekend, for example, various media outlets were spreading some so-called good news. They claimed that a Dutch minister had announced that Nexperia's supplies to China would soon be restored. This piece of good news spread quickly through countless chat groups, and it helped push Wingtech stock to the daily limit right before Friday's close. But anyone who checked the original Dutch report quickly realized that this was very likely another case of lost in translation. People really want to hear good news, especially news that sounds like the Dutch have backed down, because that fits perfectly with the old joke about killing the messenger who brings bad news. My feeling is that most of the information we see online is what certain people want you to see. This is especially true of those little stories that can move stock prices and bring enormous profits. Some private funds and self-media accounts have turned this into a large, well-organized business. The Nexperia turmoil looks like a classic live theater performance. Most people watching from the outside do not really understand the logic behind it. First, the negotiations are not going to end quickly. The press conference held yesterday by China's Ministry of Commerce shows that the two sides have not even really started talking yet. And even when they do talk, the most they're likely to discuss in the near term is how China might restore exports of qualified packaged products from Nexperia's facilities. As for how the Dutch government could change a court ruling and restore Zhong's control over the company, that question is probably not even on the negotiation agenda. Resolving the Nexperia issue requires at least 3 levels of negotiation. There's the government level, which concerns loosening export restrictions. There's the judicial level, involving the court in The Hague modifying its decision. And then there's the commercial level, which concerns the final settlement over Nexperia's equity. The Dutch courts don't necessarily listen to the Dutch government. You would still need Nexperia's foreign executives to mediate, withdraw lawsuits, and navigate the legal procedures. That process won't move quickly. Given the working style of European bureaucracies, taking half a year or even a full year would be normal. As for the final commercial settlement around Nexperia's ownership, the most likely outcome is a dignified exit for Wingtech. Wingtech has likely prepared contingency plans, and serious damage will be unavoidable. Now consider the Netherlands itself. Many people online tend to think of the Netherlands as a small European country that happens to produce lithography machines. In fact, the Netherlands is China's second largest trading partner in Europe, excluding Russia, and the largest source of China's trade surplus in Europe. In China-EU trade dialogues, the Netherlands stands almost on par with Germany. Any shift in its attitude toward China will heavily influence the broader trade pattern between China and the EU. Globally, the Netherlands is the world's fourth largest trading nation, behind only China, the United States, and Germany. It plays a crucial role in the global supply chain. Geopolitically, it occupies a very special position. It sits at the natural gateway to the North Sea. It connects the English Channel with the Baltic Sea, and it also hosts Europe's largest port, Rotterdam, and the fourth largest, Amsterdam. The Netherlands controls around 60% of Europe's seaborne imports and exports. Geographically, it plays for Europe a role similar to that of the Suez Canal. Second, the value of Nexperia as a hostage asset or bargaining chip is gradually declining. Nexperia's wafer supply has already been cut off, which means the raw materials for its packaging and testing facilities in Dongguan will soon be exhausted. It is unclear how long existing inventory can sustain production. Dongguan accounts for about 70% of Nexperia's global packaging and testing capacity, but because of the wafer shortage, around a third of its production equipment has already been shut down. The biggest impact is on the global automotive industry, where Nexperia holds a pivotal role. Around 90% of its products meet automotive-grade standards. They are widely used in critical control systems for major manufacturers like Volkswagen, BMW, Mercedes, Tesla, Honda, and Ford. Nexperia doesn't sell high-end GPUs. Its core business is general-purpose discrete devices, such as metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistors, or MOSFETs, electrostatic discharge protection circuits, or ESD protection, and small signal logic devices. These chips are used in countless scenarios, from airbag controllers to car window switches. Most of them sell for less than $1 each, but the volumes are enormous. In some vehicles, a single circuit board can carry dozens of such components. Last year, with around 20% market share, Nexperia held the #1 position globally in small-signal discrete semiconductors. Its customers include car makers and several tiers of upstream suppliers. Nexperia's products are actually pretty easy to replace. For many standard components, a second source can be selected and validated in 1 to 2 months. The real bottleneck is customer qualification. Under normal circumstances, that process would be long. But now the situation is extraordinary, and extraordinary measures will be taken. After the pandemic, many car manufacturers learned their lesson. They deliberately prepared second sources for almost every component. A French automotive exterior parts supplier, Plastic Omnium, has said it still has enough Nexperia inventory to support production for the coming weeks. It also said that all companies are actively searching for alternative suppliers, and that there are indeed viable substitutes. Over the past few years, companies have already gone through several rounds of adjustment and are accustomed to this kind of volatility. Executives at major car makers and Tier 1 suppliers told the Financial Times they are working around the clock to find replacement sources. According to a report from the consulting firm Intelligent Auto, several Chinese wafer fabs, including Wingtech's competitors in Wuxi, Hangzhou, and Yangzhou, are able to supply wafers to Nexperia's Dongguan base. This raises a simple question. If those wafers are packaged and tested into finished chips in Dongguan, are those chips still truly Nexperia products? Another question follows. If, after 1 month or 3 months, the Nexperia turmoil is somehow resolved and operations resume, will its customers and business really return to their original state? With every passing day, the value of Nexperia as a hostage asset is accelerating towards zero. Third, who is the happiest party in all of this? From a business perspective, the Nexperia turmoil is a complete lose-lose situation for both Nexperia and its Chinese parent, Wingtech. But if there are losers, there must also be winners. The process of dividing up Nexperia's market share has already begun. In Europe, public information shows that Volkswagen has urgently switched to STMicroelectronics. The LiDAR company Valeo has already found and validated alternative chips for more than 95% of its components. Its new suppliers include Infineon, onsemi, and STMicroelectronics. Nexperia's other major customers are also racing to shift their orders. Infineon is the global leader in power semiconductors, with a market share of 17.7% in 2024. It holds a strong advantage in automotive-grade power devices, and it is also at the forefront of silicon carbide technology. Its hybrid pack drive modules have become an industry benchmark. In the 800-volt high-voltage platform, Infineon moved earlier than Nexperia, and its products have already entered mass production at many major car companies. STMicro is likewise a strong player in power devices, with a market share of 8.7% in 2024. It has invested heavily in silicon carbide and gallium nitride technologies and has launched a full portfolio of automotive-grade CIC products. It has built deep partnerships with many leading car makers in the new energy vehicle sector.